Episode 12, To Hell with the Podcast. Welcome back to another show. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening from, whether it's YouTube, Rumble, Apple, Spotify, and make sure to follow us on social media. I'm Tim. As always, I am here with my most awesome cousin, Daryl. Daryl, good morning.
Good morning, man. As always, stoked to be here. I got a big day today. I'm stoked to, as always, to be doing this.
Well, why are you having a big day? I know why you're having a big day, but tell our listeners why you're having a big day.
I'm going to see Wolfgang Van Halen and Miles Kennedy tonight, and I am taking a friend who's never seen either one of these artists, and I'm like, let's go, because I don't know, I like it when I can introduce people to, like, not just the artists, but seeing them live. I'm just like, oh crap, I'm going to see Wolfgang Van Halen live again, and I'm just like, I know what this guy can do, but my friend doesn't. So it's just like, I'm really stoked when that kind of thing kind of falls into place. My lovely wife was supposed to come with me, but she's kind of under the weather. And so it's like, all right, well, we'll do it a little different. And I'm really stoked because I love both these artists. Like, so Miles Kennedy is probably one of my favorite artists ever.
Yeah.
I've seen this. Golly, I think this will be my fourth Wolfie show. So yeah,
I'm just go ahead.
well, and for me, like, it re-energizes me whenever I get to go to a live concert, because I usually try to do, like, if I could do one a month, that would be great. Doesn't always work out that way, and I haven't been to a show in probably like 2 or 3 months, and I'm like, my soul needs some live music.
Daryl, I just have to say this. I am hurt that you didn't call me and invite me.
Dude, I
No,
sent
I'm
you a
just
freaking.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm
Don't
kidding.
even start with me, bro. You were the first. You were the first person I text, and did I get a response?
Oh, did you text me?
No.
I didn't see
Yeah.
the text, man. Sorry.
I,
My
I don't
bad.
believe.
I
First of
didn't.
all, I don't believe you, but okay.
It may have got it, it lost yesterday or the day before with our thread of preparing for this show and me going to the show I went to a couple of nights ago. But I'm just messing with you because the thing is, I wouldn't have been able to go anyway. I'm leaving tomorrow to go out of town and I'm still riding high from the show I was at 2 nights ago.
Give us a
So,
little recap, dude.
man, so I know he is not your artist. He is not your thing. But my
He's
wife
your
and
guy,
I,
though.
yeah, let's put it to you this way. I was thinking about this morning, and I was like, what we do here for this podcast, if I had another artist I could do a podcast on, it would be this guy. It is just, and we went the other night and we saw Brian Adams VIP experience, and that just topped it, the VIP experience, because this was our fifth time seeing him, and it's just
Really?
funny.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah. So, or it was my fifth time seeing him, my wife's fourth time seeing him. So we've been 4 times together,
that's
and
cool.
so my wife is always funny because she knows this about me. She doesn't like it when I do it because I just buy the tickets and I just go, "Hey, guess what we're doing?" Because believe it or not, if you meet my wife, you wouldn't know it, but she is more of an introvert versus an extrovert. So she would rather stay home, read a book, do those kind of things, and going out and being around people, it just exerts a lot of energy if you're an introvert. But she's always like, it comes time to go. She goes, "Oh, man, I don't know if I'm going to have fun. This is kind of out of my element. This is," because when I told her, yeah, I bought tickets to Brian Adams, she was like, "Oh, great. Guess what, hon? How about the VIP experience?" "Okay, what does that mean?" "Oh, and by the way, we're going to be on the second row." Oh my gosh. So it was kind of
That's
funny
all.
leading up to it, because she's always just talking about just wants to go and have fun, but don't get me out of my element. And so we went Thursday night. So that was just a couple of nights ago. And the VIP experience was cool because we had the opportunity. We were the first ones in the door and we were able to be at the merch table first ones. Cause I remember when we went and saw them 2.5 years ago, I went up to the merch table and said, "I want that shirt." And all they had was a medium. And man, the medium's not going to fit me. And so I missed out on a couple of merch things. So it was actually kind of nice to go in and get the merch done. And then there was a group. It was about 18 or 19 people who bought this VIP package, and we were able to go down below and do a Q&A with Bryan Adams himself. And it was kind of funny because you know me, and I usually fanboy things. I'm like, "Oh, you're the best. I love you," blah, all that kind of mess. But I actually asked questions more. So he came down, and it's just so funny. You see him on stage, it's like one thing, but he comes down, he's got this sweatshirt on, he's got these glasses on, and he's a
He wasn't
very
showy.
yeah, he was, though, a very chill, laid back, humble guy. When people like people would sit there and say, "Oh, your music," and they were, and he was just like, "Oh, thank you, thank you." He goes, "I just write what comes to me, and if it's a hit, that's great." But he wasn't like up on a pedestal, just a very, very laid back guy. And I asked a couple of questions more about his future because he's 66 now. So you start to
Yeah.
think, how much longer are you going to be doing this going forward and all that? So I asked him about what does the future look like? And he actually started his own label too. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
this last album he did, it was his first full-length album that he put out on his own label. So I asked him about that. And other people were asking him about some nostalgic things and things like that, but it was pretty cool. And so then the Q&A broke up, and then we were able to have a photo done with Adams, and that was really kind of the highlight, not the highlight, but it was kind of funny because he was like, "Hey," when I got up there, I was standing next to him, and he was like, "Hey, come on, squeeze in here." And it was like, "Okay, that's pretty cool." He's saying, "Squeeze in here." And so we got pretty tight in our photo op with him because it wasn't just me and my wife. It was me and a couple of other people. Lori and I were on one side, they were on the other side. So there's the picture, the group photo that was taken. So that was
Nice.
that was that was pretty cool to be able to do that. And so I stayed for a minute just after that as he was talking to the two brothers next to us, and then we
Have you
I asked him a couple of what's that?
have you done something like that before?
Not with him. No,
Well,
not
just
with
in
him.
general.
Yes, with Stryper. That's the only time I've really ever done it before. Not with not with anybody else. And this was the first time doing it. So I turned around to him, and he looked at me and he goes, he looked at me and he said, "Hey, I really appreciate the questions you asked. They were some really good questions." And I said, "Thanks." And we shook hands. And, that was kind of it with the moment with him. But then we had a tour of all the production and all of that backstage, loading, unloading the
Nice.
equipment, what it takes. So that was pretty cool. And then we had the VIP treatment. We were down on the floor, second row, and then the show itself was incredible. Pat Benatar was opening up for him.
Dude, I when you shot me a text about Pat Benatar, I was like, "Oh, crap, extra added bonus."
She absolutely is because we were standing there. She's 72. And Lori looked at me and said, "She looks and sounds amazing," which she did. Her voice was still strong, just like it
Yeah.
was back in the 80s. And she played a set. It was about 11 songs, and she did right at an hour, then the half-hour break. And it was kind of cool because when Bryan Adams came on, we were at the Duluth, the gas arena in
Yeah,
Duluth.
South.
Yeah, got south. So you had the stage where we were, but then he had a stage set up on the other side of the floor, and he came out there and played a couple of acoustic songs, then walked up along the side on the floor in the first row on the lower level and walked up that way and high-fiving people, shaking hands, and then got up on the stage and played for 2 hours, 27 songs, played for 2 hours. And the thing, and you know me, when I talk about Stryper, the thing that I really liked is he did his classics, of course, but he did his new songs as well. And he did 3 songs off of his new album, which, by the way, is his 16th album. And so
That's crazy.
he's done 16 albums, and I don't have the one here, but this is his new album, that signature that got done. That was part of the VIP package that you got. And so he came up 2 hours, probably about an hour in. I started thinking about you, and you were saying, how you always say, sing along song just makes me happy. I sat there and realized I've been singing every word. to every song, and I haven't stopped smiling the whole time.
Absolutely, dude. That's why music is awesome. It's it,
Yes,
if something hits your soul or makes you happy, it's like, yes, give me more of that. I'm taking my mother to see Barry Manilow next year, and I'm gonna sing every word to every freaking song, and I'm gonna be smiling the entire time.
I know.
And
Well,
yes,
I did
and you're
check out
going
where my seats I did check out where my seats were gonna be for that show because he's playing the Gas South Arena too, so it's like, "Oh, there's my seats, that's where we're gonna be at," so we'll have pretty good seats there for that show, and so again, he played 2 hours, and I gotta tell you this was funny. So we get back in the car later after the show's over, Lori looks at me and goes, "So, Tim, how was your date with so and so?" I kinda looked at her, I went, "What do you mean?" And I'm not gonna say his name, but this was what was crazy. So one of the guys in the Q&A asked a question. He mentioned a song off Waking Up the Neighbors and said house arrest. And my memory, Daryl, I rewound to 2.5 years ago. And I thought when we were at the show, because Brian Adams will take audience requests of like 2 songs each show. And I went, that looks like the guy who made the request 2.5 years ago. So but I wasn't as close as he was when we went 2.5 years ago. I was like on the front row or the lower level. He was up front center. So I went up to him afterwards and I asked him, I said, 2.5 years ago when he was here, were you the guy that requested house arrest? And he was like, yeah. And so I immediately found my long lost brother because you're going to love this. We connected, swapped numbers. He's going to be at Rush next year.
nice.
But so so um connecting with him on Facebook, and then politically he aligns the way we do. And through going through the scrolling, Braves fan, golf fan. I'm like,
Oh my god, it's your soulmate.
so that's why Lori was given just joking with me about it. But no, it was we had a blast at the show and we got back in the car, my introvert wife. So I look at her and I said, did you have a good time? She looks at me with a smile. Yes, I did. I had a lot of
You're
fun. So
perfect.
I know sometimes I kind of have to, I don't want to say kick her out into doing something like that, but sometimes I just have to take the lead and say, okay, we're going, and that's what we do. And it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I took off work on Friday because by the time we got home, got in bed, I had to get up early anyway Friday morning, and I was exhausted yesterday afternoon. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I am tired today." Great
That's awesome, man.
experience, a lot of fun.
Well, my wife and I were talking about, because you were sending pictures and sent me a couple texts and whatnot. And my wife and I, not to humble brag or whatever, we do that stuff a lot. It's like, hey, one of my heroes is coming through town. It sounds like what you did was similar to what we did with Steve Vai. To just come down, sit with the 15, 20 people and do a Q&A for an hour or whatever. But we were talking about that. I was like, I don't think Tim does that very often, but we've done that our whole lives basically. And I was like, you know what? That's awesome that he gets to do that because I know how big of a fan you are. And so that's cool. I was happy for you.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun, and you're right, I don't do it that much. Sometimes it's the price tag on the ticket. It's like,
And
I'm
now
sitting there going, I had the opportunity to do this, and again, outside of Stryper, one of my favorite artist of all time, and just being able to go and do that with my wife who likes them just as much as I do, because I think it's always kind of been the thing. It's like sometimes a lot of time sometimes our music taste does line up, but then there are times that it doesn't. But with him, we both are a big fan of his stuff, and not just his classics, but his newer stuff as well. And there was a song that came out right when we started dating, so that by him, so that's kind of been
all right.
our song for the past 31ish, 32ish years. So it was a lot of fun, and I'm just glad we had the opportunity to do it. And if you get the opportunity to go, if you're a fan of his, check it out. Check him out on this tour. You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, I was sincerely very happy that you got to do that because I know what a fan you are. So it's like I said,
Still sounds amazing. Still sounds amazing, his voice, because we see different people, like, we've talked about it briefly, Vince Neil, things like that. Just it's like, hang it up, but let's put it to you this way, we saw him in June of 2023. He's basically been on the road since June of 2023, all over the
mm,
world, all
mm,
so many different countries. And he and during that time, he recorded a new album, put it out, does a lot of recording on the road. He does, like, video snippets of, "Hey, this is us setting up a recording studio in the hotel room," and they'll record songs and do stuff like that, put out the new album, and just rolled from that tour right into this tour, and
wow.
so he is constantly on the road.
Yeah, that's crazy because you bring up Vince Neil is a great example because yes, he needs to hang it up. But anyways, not gonna talk crap on Motley Crue, but
Yeah,
um,
you just get to a point because that was the thing that because that was one of the questions when I asked him, when I said, "How long do you see yourself doing this?" Because some musicians are like, "I'm gonna do this till I'm 75." Some people are like, "I'm just gonna do this till
can't.
I can't anymore." And he kind of somebody asked him, "How does he stay in shape?" And he told a little bit about, "I exercise, I eat right, I don't drink, I don't smoke, all of this other kind of stuff." And so he attributes that to being healthy. But it was just kind of cool. He goes, "Listen," he goes, "as long as I've got a song to write and I'm just not redoing the same thing." Like, he goes, his new album is called Rolling with the Punches. He goes, "I don't want to be doing Rolling with the Punches part 3 a few years from
Mm,
now. As long as I've
mm.
got new stuff that I feel like is impacting and people are relating, I'm going to keep doing this. And as long as I can." So I was kind of excited about that because he doesn't have any plans to, "Hey, at 70 years old, I'm hanging this up."
I think if the quality's there and you and as an artist, it's like if you can still pull it off, then why would you stop?
Yeah.
That's it's one of the best jobs ever. So it's like, why would you stop unless you're starting to suck a little bit? And example, Motley Crue. But yeah, that's cool. I'm glad that's his attitude because yeah, I feel like a lot of artists they stay at the Eddie Trunk would always say they stay at the party too long, and when it starts to suck, you need to leave.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that's his attitude.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is, and but like I said, I mean, I think his vocals sound stronger than they did 20 years ago, and
Oh, cool.
he talked a little bit about his vocals and how he's able to maintain that and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. So, but
Cool.
I'm gonna wrap it up there because we've got some Stryper stuff to talk about this week.
Yes, we do. But
So, go ahead.
that's a great story. I'm again sincerely happy that you had that experience because I know what that feels like as a fan. So that's cool. So anyway, let's get into it.
Yeah, so this week, couple of things from the Stryper news desk. And I was listening to this yesterday, and it was just a quick interview that Michael Sweet did. I'll put the link in the show notes and everything like that. But gave a quick update on his solo album that's coming out next year. And again, that's going to be released April. He said probably April, May timeframe, as long as everything rolls right. He said the first single is he's looking to release that possibly in January. But in this interview, and I hate to disappoint anybody out there, but basically he said, I'm summarizing what he said. This is not your typical Michael Sweet album. He goes, this is not a metal album. He said what he actually did was like we've said earlier, this album has been sitting on the shelf for a while. He said in the interview that he wrote this during the COVID years, like 2020, 2021. And so it was a completely different sound, completely different style, kind of like a more 60s, 70 vibe to it. Think of the Eagles, think of Ambrosia, those types of bands is kind of what he alluded it to and
Did he
compared it
actually
to.
mention? Did he actually mention Ambrosia?
He did. He mentioned
Wow,
two bands and he mentioned Ambrosia and the Eagles.
that's that's a deep pull right there. I love it.
So 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 that was interesting to see. So again, just a quick update on his solo album. So we should be looking for that new single January, maybe February to come out. So when it does, we'll definitely let you once we got that rolling. And then also too, he was talking about the new Stryper album. And what it sounded like was that he's already written the songs for it. And now the songs are in the hands of the band to get familiar with the tunes so they can start going in and doing what they do at the end of this year. He gave December 29th as a date. So they're going right in and they're going to start recording this stuff. And again, he probably said that the new Stryper album would probably be Q4 next year when it comes out because he rolls everything. He goes, we'll get it all turned in. But he said the record label takes about 4 months to get everything done completely right. So if they get it done, laying down the tracks, vocals done, production done, let's say mid-April, then that would be, 4 or 5 months after that would be September-ish time frame. So we're looking at the end of Q3, beginning of Q4. So just a quick update on that Stryper album that's coming out next year. And then he talked about too, which was really interesting, just going back to what I was talking about with our concert this week and Brian Adams. He just talked about he always has a song in his head. He goes, I always feel like things are not finished because he's always got a song going on in his head. And he goes, sometimes I'm sitting there trying to talk with people and I've got this song idea going on. And he also said an iconic album is supposed to drop next year as well. So
Interesting. Yeah, I feel
three,
like there's a little OCD with that guy.
yeah, I would say too. But when you're a musician and he's 63 years old and you've got three projects coming out next year, that just is incredible.
Well, it speaks to the soul of an artist though also because they they don't want to stop doing what they're doing, but it's like, yeah, especially somebody like Mike, he's always got like multiple things going on and it's just I got to keep moving. I got to keep moving. So it's just, and and that's part of why I think he's pretty awesome because he always has something in the can and but there's there's a little bit of brain that's like probably a little loose when you always have a song idea in your head. But again, that's part of being an artist. So I totally appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, not just the lyrics, but the music. As we've said time before, I mean, he is the songwriter for Stryper for the music and the lyrics. And sometimes on some songs, Oz or Robert Perry might collaborate with the song itself, but the majority of the music is coming from him. So there
Right.
I remember when I was in 12th grade, I sat down and I said, let's see if I can write a song. I got like two sentences in and couldn't get beyond two lyrics. And I like, how do people do this?
It's not an easy task. I've literally written like two songs in my life and collaborated with a couple people. It's not easy and it's not something I could do ongoing. There, I'm not built that way. But yeah, it's like it's in you. It's in your soul. It's in your spirit. So it's like, all right, I wouldn't think that he wouldn't always have a song, at least an idea in his head. So yeah, that it makes sense. It makes
And honestly, that's probably why he can go in to when he goes, it's time to write an album and he can get it done in 10 days because
yeah.
he's got
Uh,
so much flowing all the time. He says, yeah, I don't necessarily like to do it this way. It's probably not the best way to do it, but I go in, say good morning to my wife, grab a cup of coffee, go in, lock myself behind a door, don't come out till later that evening. But the guy is writing, and you got to think he's writing the music, but how many songs come out that don't even make the record?
right.
That's the thing I wonder sometimes is how many songs does he have just sitting on a shelf that haven't made it onto one of the Stryper records just because maybe it didn't fit the vibe of the album, maybe lyrically it didn't fit the vibe, maybe he came out of it and said this might be more a solo song or this might be for something else, but who knows? I mean, but he's
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, is this a Striper song or is this a Michael Sweet song? I mean, and to bring back an example, I mean, hell, think about Prince. How many songs did that guy have that
right.
never made it, never made a record? And there's Mike probably has a vault of stuff that may or may not. You got to figure out because he does so much stuff. It's like is this a Sweet Lex song? Or is this a Stryper song? Is this a Michael Sweet solo song? He's got a lot of buckets that he can
Yeah.
put whatever he's creating into. So yeah, that's cool because yeah, I'm sure he's got a bunch of stuff that's just kind of just laying there and just doesn't have a bucket for it yet.
And you know, you make a good point because you think about as he's writing stuff, and I'm just speculating here, but for a guy who always has that kind of mind where he always has that music flowing, probably having this many projects that he does with Stryper, his solo stuff, Sweet and Lynch, Sunbomb, Iconic, hopefully another Soul Driver. I mean, that's 6 different things that could land. I mean, you could write that and go, that's not really the vibe for Stryper, but oh, that would be a great song for this, or that would be a great
Exactly.
lyric for this type of thing. So he has an outlet for so many different avenues of his writing. I wonder how that works for him.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting point. It's like how do you as a songwriter and an artist is like, all right, this song's gonna go in this bucket, this one's gonna go over here, or I just might just leave it up here for a minute and see what happens. So but yeah, I mean he's a prolific artist for sure. I mean,
Right.
golly. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Anyway.
definitely is, and he's one of those guys that can do it all, and not just the musicianship of the songwriting, but singer, vocally, guitarist. Again,
Yeah.
we've said this several times already, one of the most underrated musicians out there, rock musicians out there.
Man, yeah, and I was going through our subject matter for today, and I don't say I forget, but sometimes when I hear things like one of the songs we're gonna get to later, and I'm just like, good lord, what a just from a vocal performance standpoint. Sometimes, like I say, I don't forget, but maybe I haven't listened to the song for a minute. But sometimes stuff just hits, and I'm just like, holy crap, I forgot he could do that.
Yeah, and one of the songs, and we'll get into subject matter here because that's what I had from the Striper news desk this week was those 2 items. So and then again, we talked about this last week. He's out on the West Coast. He's doing a few acoustic shows. Go to michaelsweet.com. That will go to michaelsweet.com. You'll be able to see where it's at. I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but I know Vegas was one of the shows and a couple of other places. So check them out if you haven't been able to, if you're able to. And but this week, what we wanted to cover was, I don't know if you want to call it deep tracks. I don't know if you want to call it, like you just said, forgotten songs, not necessarily by us, but they make an album, but they never get played, meaning they never make it into a concert. And so it's like they get recorded that one time. And then that's like the only time that it ever happens. And maybe you can call it forgotten songs in regards to they got put on a compilation album. And for me, I've always been kind of, I don't know how you are, but when it comes to a compilation album, a greatest hits album, I've always been kind of like, I already have the songs. And then nowadays, a compilation album doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, with streaming, I can go make my own my own album of their greatest
Yeah,
hits.
go to
So
Spotify.
yeah, just go to Spotify. So when you see one song that comes out or 2 songs that comes out on a greatest hits album or something along like that, they just kind of get forgotten because those kind of albums don't sell as well as new material. Maybe because, like I said again, I already have To Hell with the Devil on To Hell with the
Joey.
Devil.
Right. No, my wife and I were talking about this last night because and I know you and Lori do it as well, but we were talking about the subject matter for today, and she's like, "Well, I already know all the hits." So, and she's not as big a Striper fan as you and I are, but she's like, "Well, what are you guys going to talk about?" I was like, "We're talking about songs that we might have forgotten about, or were deep tracks or whatever that weren't hits." She's like, Stryper didn't have a lot of hits. I'm like, I kind of got a little sideways on that one, but I
Well, they
was like,
had just
it's like, I'm sorry. Do you remember MTV back in the day?
the thing was
But
they weren't played on the radio the way that they were played on MTV because they were
right,
forced to be played on MTV because of the dial MTV thing.
yep,
And they ended up with 3 hits off To Hell with the Devil. They ended up with a couple of hits off of In God We Trust.
yeah, we trust.
And
Yeah,
that's more than some of the other hair bands from that time.
Totally. No,
I
I
hate hair
totally.
bands, that sound, that term, but
Well, it is what it is.
I was about to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. It is what it is. Hey, we've got Hair Nation channel number 39 on Sirius XM. So and sometimes I hate that station. I'm like,
There's a lot
do,
of bad music coming off of that station sometimes.
well, it's just, but at the same time, too, I listen to other stations. And first of all, I don't need to hear a Dawkins song every hour. It's like,
I mean, come on. There's nothing wrong with that.
and, but when you have all the other songs that were out during that time, and I just feel like they just kind of rely on the same hits over and over again.
Yeah, they
And
do.
And instead of going a little bit deeper, you can get deeper on the app. But what makes me really mad about that station is if you go listen to other stations that were like maybe an 80s station or a 90s station or something along like something along those lines, they'll actually sit there and say, they'll have the artist on and they'll say, hey, here's my new single from our most recent album right here on this channel. For whatever reason, I've actually heard the DJ say, that on channel 39, they've said, for whatever reason, they will not let us play anything new. We have to stick to the stuff from the 80s and 90s. And to me, that makes no sense because it's Hair Nation. If you've got a band from that stage of life and they've released a new song, play the stinking song.
Well,
One, that opens up the doors so you're not playing the same artist every single hour.
no, that's a great point. Good example that I actually have a reference for. Faster Pussycat has
House of Pain, that's
released.
the only song.
Well, they have like new material, and Tammy Down is like, he's got himself back in shape. He's sober. He's doing all the things, and Faster Pussycat's making new music, and I'm just like, play the new music. And it's like, I'm a fan of Faster Pussycat, but yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It's like if you have an artist in that genre from that era that was doing stuff back in the day, why the hell wouldn't you play their new stuff? Just saying. But no, yeah, that's a great point you make.
Yeah, and so what but again, we're talking about the songs that are maybe deep tracks, songs that we may have forgotten, songs that may not get love. And I think we came up both with a list of about 5, maybe adding on an honorable mention. But today I'll let you jump in with I'll just let you start. And for me, I don't know if you put them in any kind of order, like here's my number 1 through 5, but and some of them may not even be songs people love from my list, but it's just there is one song that I actually like. You can't even buy it digitally. And it's not on streaming. The only way to get this album is if you buy the CD. The only way to get the song is if you buy it on CD. So to me, this one particular song is completely forgotten. So I can't even play it underneath us today because I couldn't even get it. I'm
Oh,
like, gosh, I would love to have that song,
yeah,
but
wow. I'm excited to hear which one that is.
but uh but I can tell you how you can hear it, but we'll start there. So jump in with your first one. Which one of the ones would you consider a deep track forgotten song from them?
Well, I kind of went back and forth because I love listening to and we talked about this before, but the covering and all that kind of stuff when they're doing different people's songs. But there were a few that like jumped out to me more lyrically than, well, not more than musically, but there were definitely like a couple tracks on here that I'm just like, I like the song because of the lyrics, and it like when I was listening to some of these, I was just like, man, this is a insanely talented band of musicians, and some of the lyrics when I'm listening to them, I'm just like, they just kind of hit me in the heart. But I was listening to the covering, and I'll just start with this one because it's easy. But I was listening to "Carry On Wayward Son" from the covering, and I was like, they could be a '70s band because I love Kansas. Um, I've actually had the opportunity to meet those guys a couple times, and it kind of sounds like a Stryper song if you like just listen to it all the way through because you've got really good lyrics, you've got really good guitar. It's a rocker, man. And then Mike's vocals are amazing on this song. But yeah, this is one of my favorite songs of all time. So that's kind of where I put it. But again, I love Kansas, but I think this version does it a lot of justice to the original. So that's why I put that on my list. So,
Yeah.
because they do a great job of covering it. So it's like, and it's not an easy song to cover. Um, we played this back. Golly, man, I'm old. I was in a band and we co- we covered this song, and I just remember how difficult it was to get everything kind of sync because there's a lot going on with the keyboards and it's just I don't know. It's a freaking amazing song. So the fact that they gave it all the love that it deserves. So yeah, that's where this one sits with me. I love it.
Carry on. This song, I would say, when you go back to the covering and you look at the track listing on the covering, outside of their one original song on this album, this is probably my most favorite song off of the covering. And a lot of that has to do when you go back and look at the covering, they do a lot of tracks of bands that and this about me that I just didn't necessarily listen to, growing up. I mean, I know songs by these bands, but I didn't necessarily, let me go out and buy an album by them. So I know songs, but I never bought an album. And so, but I knew this one really well because, like you, I always loved this song. And the thing about this song, it just, sometimes I don't like covering albums because I don't feel like the band sometimes do a song justice. I feel like they really honored the original song with this. And
Yes.
just like they did with the Boston song on
Peace of
Murder
Mind.
by Pride. I wanted to say Peace of Time, but it was Peace of Mind. Thank you. And I know it's Peace of Mind. I just had a brain moment. The squirrels are back and
The squirrels.
I know. Peace of Mind. So I love that song, and they did justice and honored that song incredibly. And I actually know Rob Halford said that about Breaking the Law when somebody asked him in an interview about Stryper covering Breaking the Law. He was really had this humble gratitude about how they did their own thing with the song. But this song on this album, again, it's one of those songs like for you, sing-along song. When I hear this song, as long as it's not wintertime or pollen season, this is a song I just love to crank up, roll the windows down, and have the breeze, the wind just chilling while I'm driving. I just love that about this song. Kansas and Stryper version.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I listened to most of this whole record yesterday, and I mean, you got Shout It Out Loud, you got freaking Over the Mountain. There's a wide breadth of stuff on that record, but when I was just going through it, I was like, dude, there's an Ozzy song, there's a Kiss song, there's, like you say, Judas Priest, Boston. I mean, it's like
Van Halen, Zeppelin.
Yeah, Van Halen too. I mean, I felt like when I was listening to it, no matter what the song was, I loved the heck out of this song. But there were so many other things that when I was listening to it, I was like, man, they're bringing the respect that a lot of these songs deserve, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, they really did. And again, going back to with this song, I just had it in mind. Going back to the covering song. Oh yeah, I love the Shout It Out Loud, the Kiss song on this album.
That was good, and I hate Kiss.
They did a fantastic job with what they had with that song. And I'm not a big Kiss fan, except I was made for loving you, babe. Just kidding. I don't like
Of
that
course,
song. Their
okay,
disco
thank you.
album. Their disco album. No, yeah.
I-
And that's one song Hair Nation will play. I'm like, seriously, you're gonna play that song? Doesn't even fit in with the vibe of Hair Nation. Good gosh. And sorry for my
Well,
singing. I hear that song and I just laugh. It just makes me funny.
no, it's
It just cracks me up.
because it's ridiculous. I mean that all of those 4 solo albums. It, mm, don't get me started on Kiss because we'll be here for another half an hour. But I am not a Kiss fan. But yeah, I mean, the Shout It Out Loud cover was really good, and I don't even really care about that song that much. But yeah, those solo records are they should make you laugh.
Yeah. And so the covering, and I know we want to get into this album at some point and really dissect it more. But the covering, that album came out in February 15th, 2011. I can't believe it was that long ago. It's
Good
just like where
grief.
have the past 20 years, 52 years gone? It's just crazy.
Yeah.
But Carry On Wayward Son from the covering. So we have a couple of songs that are matching up on this, but I'm
Oh,
gonna
good.
go with I'm gonna go with this one. And actually, can I go ahead and do 2 songs at once if you don't mind? Okay.
Absolutely.
So, as Stryper was kinda starting back up in 2005, we all know the story about with Reborn. That was gonna be a Michael Sweet album. Oz listens to it and goes, "Hey, this should be a Stryper album." They did it as a Stryper album. I love the album. Some people, "Oh, that sounds like a Michael Sweet solo album." Yeah, but he did the album. Then it was a few years later, they came out with Murder by Pride, and that had more of a vibe. And again, I love Murder by Pride, and it stacks up to me among some of their greatest albums. But then when I heard Second Coming was the album, and they released that in 2013. It was March 26th. The Second Coming album was they went in and they re-recorded a lot of versions. It was like 14 songs that they re-recorded from Yellow and Black to Hell with the Devil, Soldiers Under Command. All four original members were a part of this album. And then they threw two songs on there and that were new material. And when I heard these two songs, I thought to myself, okay, they're really talking about, hey, we're going to be making more music. We've got, because when they released this in 2013, No More Hell to Pay came out later that year. So they were already talking about that album when Second Coming came out. And I remember sitting here thinking to myself, going, if this is where they're going musically, directionally on their newest albums, this is going to be awesome. And I remember I posted that on Facebook. And unfortunately, I can't find it on Facebook because I was one of those people. Well, I'm sick of Facebook. I'm getting off of it. So everything lost. And then I finally realized, okay, I need to stay on Facebook because main thing is that's how I find out all the stuff about my favorite artists and bands and all that other kind of stuff. So that is one of the main reasons I'm on social media. It's because of my music interest. But when they played these two songs and I heard them, I was like, if this is the direction that they're going, these new albums are going to be incredible. And the one I'm playing right now is Blackened, and Blackened is just a hard driving song, and the other song and that bass line right underneath the beginning of this song, and then you had Bleeding from Inside Out. Both of those, it just got me so jazzed for No More Hell to Pay because I was like, I don't know what else to say except vocally, musically, harmonies going on right there in Blackened, and then you have him going into the chorus. It just stoked me. But unfortunately, I feel like these songs kind of got lost on Second Coming because it was a full album, but it wasn't new material. So I've never heard these songs live. I would love to hear Blackened live. I would love to hear Bleeding from Inside Out live, but they just kind of got lost in the mix of the Second Coming album. And then they immediately had No More Hell to Pay. And so they played on that tour. I missed that tour, but they probably played a couple of new songs off of No More Hell to Pay. But because this got so released so close to No More Hell to Pay, I just feel like this is a deep track that's great for the Stryper history, but gets lost with all the other material that's come out since then.
No, that's a great point. I mean, that's what we're doing. Stuff that kind of might have got lost in the shuffle. Because again, we're talking about there's so much material. It's like I was going through all this stuff yesterday, and I was kind of getting into the weeds with it, and I'm just like, golly, man, how do I even pick 5 or 6 songs that never charted or were never singles or whatever? But no, that's a good one, man. I support it. Um,
Yeah, and this one is, I just love the way that this one starts off, but this is
yeah,
Bleeding from Inside Out. And again, just another one. It just, they have such an amazing catalog with all the albums that they've come out with. And that's why I've always been like, that's why I was so excited again for the 40th anniversary tour, because they were playing new stuff. They had half a set of new stuff and songs that I hadn't heard live before. And I was just like, oh, this is awesome.
no,
I love
yeah,
it.
it's awesome when you can. It's like, all right, I know this song, I like this song, but I've never seen it live. So when you get a chance to see some of that stuff, it's a turn on, dude. I'm gonna go see some stuff tonight that I've never seen live, and I am stoked to
Yeah.
see some of the Miles Kennedy stuff and the Wolfie stuff, and because I peeked at the set list, I was like, oh dang, I've never seen this one before. So yeah, whenever you get a chance to see, a song that you like played live, if it's done properly, it's a turn on a little bit. So yeah,
I know, because that was kind of the thing that was funny. Going back to my concert the other night, he played 3 songs off of his new album, and here I am, second row, singing all along to him, and then the other people are sitting down around me because they have no idea what the song is.
'Cause they're
I'm
lame.
like, oh my gosh, come on, these songs are great, and lyrically I liked them, but I mean, my wife kind of gave me this, like, she told me after the concert, I didn't tell you this earlier, she goes, okay, sometimes, Tim, she goes, I want you to be you, I want you to have fun, but she goes, read the room sometimes. I'm like, hey, I spent the money, I'm gonna go, if I'm that close, I'm gonna have fun.
We're going to a show tonight, and we're gonna be in the pit, basically.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm at a freaking rock concert.
Right.
Why wouldn't I get a little bit in the weeds with it? So just,
But-
no, I support you.
Thank you. I'll make sure she hears that. But I'm not saying that bad about my wife, because my wife was dancing. My wife was dancing along to the songs as well. But I get a little too happy. And like I said, I was smiling the whole time, and it was so much fun. But again, he played songs that he's never played before. And it's like, if you're going to put out new material that is good, play them. And I'm sure somebody hadn't heard one of the new songs and was like, that's a pretty good song, I need to go check out the new album. So if you never play the new stuff and you only play what I did 40 years ago,
Right.
it
Right.
just gets ignored, and fans ignore it.
Yeah, great example. And I keep going back to freaking Wolfgang, but he just released a record last week, and there's some songs on there. I was like, I had that thing cranked yesterday because I knew I was going to the concert, and there's some Eddie undertones on that thing. But I was like, I'm here for it, man. Do all the things. But yeah, that record's really. I totally recommend the new Mammoth record because it's really hard. But that's just me talking. But
Yeah, I've got to listen
Anyway.
to it. I was in a Bryan Adams mode all week because I was getting stoked for the concert. So I didn't. So my algorithm probably pushed Bryan Adams back a little to the top of the list for this year. So it'll probably be Stryper, Michael Sweet, Sweet and Lynch, and oh gosh, I forgot.
Bryan Adams.
What will be funny, as I have a 6-year-old, well, sometimes on Spotify I'm playing the stuff that he likes, so it might be a mix of like Stryper and some other like kid stuff, and it's like, but it's fun. We get in the car and we listen to stuff, but it's cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see my algorithm for Spotify this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be yeah, I think yours and mine both are gonna be a little different than.
All right, go ahead with. So I've done 2. Go ahead with your second one, man.
Man, my second one is God.
Oh, that's an incredible song. Again, off of the
Dude,
covering.
the freaking vocals in this song are just, nobody should be able to sing this. And some of the falsetto, like high things that are happening in the song are it's Mike, so it's gonna be really good, but it's just like, it's one of those songs that I kind of forgot, but when I was listening to it, some of the vocal spots just
the vocal
man.
spots, just what you were talking about, how they have the intro and they go into the first verse, and it's just him singing, and you have the drum under it a couple of times. That is just a solid vocal on this song. Again, hearing this song, not knowing what was coming for the future for them, you tie this song into Bleeding from Inside Out, Blackened, but this, it's just like, I think the best is yet to come for this band. But you listen to that is just so, who does that remind me of?
It reminds me of Rob Halford, to be honest. I was like, there's only a handful of people that could probably do that. So when you're listening to it, like, it's the talent level is ridiculous. First of all, it just, I don't know. When I was listening to the vocal, I was just like, man, I was thinking, I was like, this sounds like, and we talked about this before. It sounds like new wave of British heavy metal type stuff. And I'm like, it's probably Rob Halford, and I'm not sure who else could pull this off. So, but yeah, it's just it's not the most technical song, but when I was listening to the vocal, I was just like, you gotta be kidding me with this. And again, it's not a song that I've listened to for a minute, but when I was going back through yesterday, I was just like, man, there's just not a lot of people that could do that.
Yeah, I would say on this, on this particular song, not just vocally by Michael himself, but I think Robert, Tim, and Oz just did a tremendous. You get into the second verse, you hear the bass line with the drums this time. That is just crazy. But I didn't know this, but one of the additional background singers on this song is, and I'm probably going to butcher the name, but it's John Donis, or from Anthrax. I don't know if I pronounced his last name correctly.
Yeah, I think you did.
And it says he's an American guitarist, best known as the lead guitarist for thrash metal band Anthrax since 2013, and as the co-founder of metalcore band Shadows Fall. So it's just like,
yeah, no, that's a great point, and I'm a huge Anthrax fan. Yeah, I mean, I like Shadows Fall too as well, but yeah, I did see that credit on the song. I didn't know that when I was first doing my research. Yeah, it's just a really great song.
Yeah, God is a great song. Just that solo that was just playing right there with the guitars, and then it jumps into this right here. Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It is. It really is. But this is another good choice that I haven't heard live. I can't, in the shows that, like I just said, in the shows we've been to, and the set list, I'm trying to remember if they've ever done this one at a show. I want to say yes, but I could be wrong on that. So if you're listening and if you've heard this song live, let us know, because this is another song I would love to hear this song live.
This would be a heavy lift live, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I know I've never heard it live before, but yeah, it's intense, and like you say, the vocal performance is crazy. But yeah, I've never seen it live either, but I would be interested to know if they'd ever played it live. Anyway.
Yeah, so my next song, or do you want to go on to your next song? We've both done two, so.
I mean, I can.
Yeah, go ahead and go to your next one. This is again, not in order, but just the songs we're talking about that are kind of forgotten.
This is no particular order. I put up, I want to do one of these later, but I put up Big Screen Lies.
That's a good one. I just like
the lyrics in the song. I mean, and it's got like a swing to it, and just, I don't know. It's just, again, something I haven't listened to for a minute, but the lyrics are like really strong in here, but, and I love the drums in the song. But yeah, so that's where I'm landing on that one. It's always been one kind of, put it in your back pocket kind of thing, but, I love this opening verse with the percussive. Come on. It's a great song. The lyrics are really strong, and it's just something I kind of like had in my back pocket and kind of forgot about. But I mean, I love the way the song is structured because of the percussiveness of everything, and then here we go kicking into and it has it's got that swing to it, man. I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's an interesting song lyrically for the times, because this is something. So first of all, this song came off of Fallen, which was released in 2015, already 10 years ago. But my wife and I talk about this, and to me, it's not just with Christianity, but it's with dads. It's with just different things that they're doing now. This entire song, the song kicks off lyrically. If you haven't heard it before, you've got to love how they portray Christianity. Just a freak, another fool for the world to see, twisting and distorting all, making money too, mocking everything that's said. They don't have a clue. No, big screen lies is no surprise. I'm getting wise to the big screen lies. So basically, anytime they put a Christian in any movie, they make him out to be stupid, dumb, or they make him to be the bad person. Like, oh, he's the abuser or he's the serial killer. They just are mocking Christianity, and they do that with dads. I mean, if you look at shows with dads now, they make dads out to be morons. And
Yep.
so it's just, so again, I always like this because I was like, yeah, they're hitting Hollywood head on with how you're portraying people like me on the big screen. And it's not true. You take one person out of millions in America and across the earth, and you were going to go see all Christians. No, they're not all like that. That's like taking well, I don't want to get into it politically, but it's really getting into, it's hitting Hollywood head on. And that's one of the things that I always liked about this song.
Right, me too. Yeah. No, I was listening to this and I was like, yeah, this is hitting Hollywood. But then I was thinking about like the whole prosperity preacher guys. I just, lyrically, I just thought it was really strong and musically as well. But yeah, it was like I say, just not something I listen to a lot, but I do. I love the strength of the lyrics, just the musicality and the song design are great. But I came to the song for the lyrical content. So
Yeah. So, but no, that is it. That is an excellent choice. And I'm gonna go with the song that for my next one. This is the third song that I'm doing. So so you just did your third. I'm doing my third.
okay,
They came out with Seven, the best of Stryper, back in 2003. Let's
yeah,
see, March 25th, 2003. And on that album, they had two new original songs on it. Just like Second Coming, they had two new original songs on this particular album. And I am going to go back to that particular album. And the song that I like off of that one, it's a song called For You. And
yes,
this is the song that that if you want to listen to, either you've got to go buy the CD or you can find it on YouTube. And it's not your typical Stryper song, but I think one of the reasons I fell in love with this song when I first heard it was I saw it, or I shouldn't say the first time I heard it, but I talked about this on a previous episode, how somebody, not Stryper, but somebody how did uh, a, a, a video of it from Passion of the Christ, the movie, and did
oh
scenes
yeah,
from that movie along with scenes from one of Stryper's live concert albums, and I think it was Puerto Rico. But lyrically, I remember hearing the song and I really liked it, but it doesn't sound like it's not your heavy Stryper song. So if you're gonna go in and think, oh, this is another heavy Stryper song, that it's not gonna this is not gonna be that song, but it is a good, in my opinion, a good song. Because but when I started watching it with the Passion of the Christ, and you start to see the lyrics of this song, and it goes, "I would walk through the fire for you, I would fly even higher for you. My one and only desire is you. But will you ever want me? And I can give you the stars, I can give you the oceans, I can give you the sun and the moon with a view. I can give you the world with undying devotion. But if I lose your heart, then what good will that do?" So you see those lyrics, and then and again, I'm a very visual person, and that's why I've always loved music videos. So when I saw that person's portrayal from the Passion of the Christ mixed with that song, and you know what Christ is going through with that song, it's like, I'm not just giving you the stars and the moon, I'm giving you my life. But if I don't have you, really makes me think that all of that stuff that he went through, in the Passion of the Christ. He did that for you. He did that for me. He did that for everybody that's listening. And so that song just, it's one of those songs I love to listen to around Resurrection Day because it just is so, it's such a powerful song. And I just love it. And again, I doubt that it'll ever be played live. I I can't even find it on streaming, but the song is 22 years old. And for me, that one just had a very impactful part in when it came out. And to me, that's one of their lost songs because you can't even, like I said, you can't even get it on streaming.
Well, the YouTube I've seen the YouTube video that you're talking about. That's impactful, man. I mean, it the way they kind of mix it up um with the scenes from Passion of the Christ. I mean, it's powerful. And that's weird that you can't find it anywhere. Huh.
I mean, I even looked this morning, I went to Amazon just to see, and the only thing that pops up is you can get the CD, but normally
Sure.
when you can buy an album, you can
You can buy a
also
song.
you can buy the MP3 of the album, you can buy but it's CD only. And so it's like if you want that song in your collection, you got to have the CD. Unless I'm wrong and somebody else can find it, let me know, but I have not been able to find that song MP3.
It's interesting. I I wonder what do you know what label that came out on? It wasn't Frontier,
Let's see. I'm gonna look that up right now.
because that's because because that to me speaks to a label decision if you can't
Yeah,
find it anywhere.
that's what I'm thinking because it wasn't Frontier.
Yeah,
Let me look
I
at it
didn't
and
think it was.
I'll see.
And I yeah, to me that if the the distribution that's on the label, so that's probably I don't know if they didn't think it was something they could monetize that well or whatever, but um yeah, that's that's interesting. That's like a one piece of their catalog that you can't actually get a hold of. So
Yeah,
that's
so
funny.
here it's got the best of Stryper. You can get the audio CD. It's not expensive. It's $11. It looks like it's new. I'm just trying to look here if you can see.
I might have to buy
Let
that
me
since
look.
I have a new
Ho-
CD player in my house.
Here you go, Hollywood Records. I was thinking it was probably Hollywood, but it's
Uh
Hollywood Records.
that yeah, that's a strange decision, I guess. I don't know.
And
I don't know.
the other song on it was a song called Something, and that was a very good song too. But on this particular album, they have 3 songs from Against the Law, they have 2 from In God We Trust, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from To Hell with the Devil, they have 3 from Soldiers, 2 from the Yellow and Black Attack, and they put I'm not gonna say this song because this is one of my other songs that is kind of a lost and forgotten song, but I just love the meaning of the song.
Okay.
And
It
and
might have just been a one off, like, okay, we're just gonna package something up and send
this
it
was
out
kind
kind of
of
thing.
in I don't want to say this was right around the time that they did their reunion tour. I want to say when did 7 Weeks Live in America come out? Am I wrong? Yeah, it
I
was kind
think
of around the time
yeah,
because 7
yeah,
Weeks Live in America came out in 2004. So this was when they did their reunion tour.
gotcha.
And so they
I love that 7 weeks live thing. I think it's great.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. If you can, $11. If you haven't heard the 2 songs, I would say, hey, if you were going to buy it on streaming, it's $2. Go ahead and buy it for 11
Yeah,
on
on
CD. If you have a CD player. You got to have a
dude,
CD player if you're going to buy it.
dude, I not for nothing. I am I was I've been working remote pretty much this whole week, and I just bought a new record player last weekend, but it's got vinyl, CD, cassette,
Yep.
and like
Bluetooth.
regular radio and Bluetooth. And so I've been like camped out in this room here, working. But like the other day, I was like listening to freaking Dark Side of the Moon, and I was like, man, I got to get some more physical. I got to get some more physical media at this point, since I actually have a player. And I was like, man, all right,
Got to grow that vinyl collection.
what do we Yeah, well, it's sitting right here in front of me, and I'm just like, what do I need to get next?
Well, that was the thing. I came home with 2 vinyls or 2 albums from the other night. I got the one through the VIP package, and I got he did a live album back in 2005, and the reason I picked that one up was because he has, like, 3 or 4 live songs on that album that he doesn't play live anymore, but it was recorded in Lisbon, Portugal.
Geez.
Shout out to my aunt out in California if you're listening because you are from Portugal.
And I talked to her last night, by the way.
Oh, did you really? Did you really? You know what we
Yeah.
need to do? We still need I would love for us to, at some point, you and I plan that trip to go out and see him like we were gonna do that one year, but COVID screwed it up, for around July for a special reason. So,
Uh,
maybe we can get that on the
okay.
calendar sometime soon.
Well, um, yeah, I was talking to our other cousin last night, and I did talk to our aunt and uncle, um, also, but yeah, we we're gonna have a conference call here pretty soon, I think,
Yeah.
to
Let's
talk
definitely
about
do that.
talk about.
But yeah, but yeah, I got the same type of record player that you do, and I remember that was the whole reason I got it because my cars don't have CD players anymore. There's still some stuff I have on cassette. It's got the radio, it's got the Bluetooth, it's got the album, it's got the place to play the vinyl on it. And I was spinning the vinyl last night, and if you're too young, spinning the vinyl means the record goes around and around and around.
Oh, here's a uh, 30 seconds. My oldest daughter sold her car last week, and she popped the CD, and there was actually a CD in the CD player. It's mine, but it's Chris Cornell's Euphoria Morning. He's probably 15 years old at this point. She's like, I've never listened to the CD before. She's like, were you guys listening to this? Because it used to be my wife's car, dude.
Yeah,
but she like when she was trading it in, she like popped the CD player, and there was a Chris Cornell CD, and I was like, golly, how long has that thing been in there? It's got to be probably a freaking decade at this point.
yeah, I
But yeah,
know.
you still have the players anymore. So.
No, you don't, and sometimes it's just like I showed you last week. I showed it to you. I can't remember. I mean, for all you '90s people out there, I still have one of these full of CDs. Nowhere to play them at, or I had nowhere to play them at, and
I have
and
one
that's
of
not
those as
all of them.
well.
That's
Yeah, I
that's
have one
not
of
all of
those
them.
as
It's just a portion. So streaming. They say that about us Gen Xers. The reason we're so mad is because we had to go from 8-track to vinyl to cassette to CD to Napster to now
golly.
everything we ever owned, we could just get a subscription for Spotify. And that was like one of the things I talked to one of the guys the other night. I was like, yeah, one of my favorite albums by Adams was, I said, yeah, I've had to buy that like 4 or 5 times because I've worn it out. Thank God
Wow,
for streaming. You can buy it, put it on the shelf and listen to it streaming and not burn the freaking thing out anymore. So, but
that's a fair point.
I know. So songs 4 are not number 4, but our next song on the list. What do you have?
So this one is when I was listening to it last night, it kind of hit me a little bit because we're both Christians, and our faith means a lot to us. One of my biggest obstacles is, and my pastor's said this a bunch of times. He's like, look at yourself how you think God would look at you. And so, of you like I do has always been a really hard concept for me, because just throwing it out there, I got, some self-esteem issues for sure, but it's like this song is about like looking at yourself the way you think God would look at you. And that's a hard concept sometimes, because we're humans and we're flawed, and we have all these freaking little stupid idiosyncrasies and stuff that we screw up. But this song, it's always spoken to me, but when I was listening last night, it just kind of hit me, I don't know, in a weird way, because I've always had a hard time wrestling with this concept. It's like, think about God looking at you and how much he loves us. And as humans, it's really hard to look at yourself that way. One, at least for me, it speaks to like a prideful mentality. It's like, God looks at me this way, apparently I'm special, which is ridiculous, but it it does kind of put the concept in a little bit of focus because we should think about the way God looks at us because I mean, that's some powerful stuff. And I've always struggled with that concept because, we struggle with good enough as people, and if we would look at ourselves the way God looks at us and accept that he thinks we're awesome, like all the time. And so it's I don't know, it was a little heavy. This one on my list is the heaviest one for me. Because I've always struggled with the concept of why would God look at me that way. So yeah, I'm just, again, lyrically, it's a simple song, but lyrically, well, until we get here, it's always been one that I kind of struggle with because I always had a hard time with the concept of what the song is about. But it's cool. It made me think about it again and made me wrestle with it a little bit. And so if a song can bring that out of me, then obviously needs to be on my list.
Yeah, and I couldn't say it any differently than what you just said, because you look at, no one knows you better than yourself in a sense, except for God. God sees every flaw. He still sees every mistake. He still sees, and then you think about the mistakes that I make, or the mistakes that I've made in the past. It's just like, gosh, if I was a human, if I was God, me human, if somebody in my life made the many mistakes that I have made, I'd be like, get out of here, bye bye. I don't have time to deal with you. But I also think too, with this song, he loves us in a way that we can't comprehend. So when somebody does do wrong, it helps me remember he's forgiven us for so much. Why can't I forgive others? But there's also a point, I will say this, there's also a point of forgiving others, but also being a doormat. Yes, let it go, but you don't have to be a doormat if it's a continuous situation. So my little thought for the day. But the reason I'm saying all this as well is because I've always liked this song. And this was when I said we had one that matched up. This was the song that we had that matched up.
Okay.
Because I just always liked it musically, lyrically, for the things that you were saying, but just the way that they did that song, just even with the opening verse, Michael
Yeah.
Sweet comes in, then you have the harmony. Another
Yes.
lyric by Michael Sweet, then the harmony. They do that 3 times. I just think the way that this song is set up, again,
Yeah.
another incredible song that I think can be very easily forgotten again, when you're coming out with albums every 2 years, you've got a lot of material. We only picked 5 today. We could probably pick 20, but the way, maybe we'll do a part 2 later on down the road for this, another deep track forgotten. But the way that you and I can go on about specific songs, we could be here for 4 hours talking about the lost tracks. So we only went with 5. But this one lined up with me as well for some of the same reasons that you were saying, because it's just like, I know I can get down on myself, but it's just that amazing love and mercy and forgiveness. Mercy's new every morning. I mean,
Right.
it's just like today's a new day. Learn from yesterday, but be better than you. Try to be better than yesterday, but it's
But it's also hard, at least this is just me talking. It's also hard as a human being to accept the fact that you have a loving God that like looks at you. I mean, looks at
through
you
all
in a
your
way
faults
that
and flaws.
it looks at you in a way that you really can't look at yourself, I guess is the
Yeah,
point.
exactly,
So
exactly.
I don't know. That's how I feel about that song. Because when I was listening to it yesterday, I was like, dang, dude, I just the premise of it's just dang it. I hate the fact that, when I think about it, it's just I always have a problem um looking at how God looks at us. Because I just again just I don't have that high of opinion about myself. So the fact that he thinks I'm pretty cool is like, all right, but it's just hard to accept sometimes because we do have those when we screw up and do all the things, it's just hard to get to the point where, oh, God thinks I'm pretty cool. So maybe I should look at that a little bit and see what's up. As humans, a lot of times it's just, man, it's freaking hard to look at that.
Yeah. It definitely can be.
So anyway,
No, so I saw a song that both you and I agreed upon, and that was song number 4 for
all
both of
right, that's
us.
cool.
So
I like it.
we both have one left, I think, and I'll go ahead and do mine 5, my 5th one, and I'll let you round out the show today with yours. But my other one that I like, and I think this one just kind of has a I always liked it because it kind of had a 1980s kind of vibe to it. It could have fit on an album back in the day. Michael Sweet has actually even said that about this song. I think if I recall correctly, it was kind of like musically or lyrically, this was kind of written in between or right around the "In God We Trust, Against the Law" time frame, but it just never found a life during that time. But they brought it back. I'd have to go back and remember, Daryl. I can't. It was like he couldn't finish the song, but he finally was able to get it onto an album, and it was on. Oh, by the way, "Love You Like I Do," that was off of Fallen. Um,
Mhm.
this particular album was "Even the Devil Believes," which came out in 2020. It's song number, I think it's the 9th song on that album, but it's invitation only. And
Nice.
it's just the thing about this album, I love this album because I listened to it almost like every day when I was walking in the mornings, just really when they released it, became very familiar with these songs. But on that album, this was one of my favorites, just going back to the way that it sounds, just kind of got that upbeat, kind of just fast pace. It's not a heavy song, but it's just like, hey, it kind of fits into my vibe of the rock songs, just a solid straight rock song. And then you get into the harmonies within the verse, but it's just like going invitation only. I don't think I need to expound on what the lyrics would actually mean when you hear invitation only. And it's just a very positive, uplifting song that just, the harmonies are great. Lyrically, it's great. Musically, I just like it. It's just, again, one of those songs that I listen to that just really makes me happy when I'm listening to it. It just puts a extra pep in my step, and I just love this one. I wish
Yeah.
it would find some light of the day, but 5 years later, 3 or 4 albums later, it's just another great track that just kind of gets lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. No, I love the there's some noodling like in the beginning, like, well, you can hear it right now, but
Yeah.
the guitar, the underlying guitar is really, it's a driver, but there's some like really pretty underlying guitar work in there. So I like this song a lot.
And I love the little keyboard
It's a-
thing they have going on in it as well, underneath. So it's pretty. They don't have it going through the whole song, but it's kind of another cool thing.
And I love the guitar solo in here too.
So invitation only. Even the Devil Believes. 2020. Good year. Fun times. No, it's
Yeah,
not.
I mean, it's-
no one.
that's
It was.
that's a solid choice. Like I say, there's a lot of subtleties, and I like this little bridge chorus right here too.
Yeah, so do I.
But,
If you've listened to our episodes, no one should be surprised that me especially loves the bridge of just the singing with the drum underneath it or whatever, because you do that in a song, I love it. So
my kids give me crap all the time because I am a huge bridge guy. So if you got a good bridge in the song, I'm probably gonna like it. So
I know, I love it too.
yeah, this is solid.
All right, what was your 5th one? We were going to do 5, so I know what it is because you gave me your list.
Well, I have more than 5, but I'll cut one of them. But Te Amo is definitely on my list. I don't know, man. It's just, again, it's one of those songs that just kind of makes me happy. It's a driver, like you were saying before. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Judas Priest kind of feel, but it's a I love the lyrics, and the chorus is amazing. So yeah, that one was. I I knew when I was going into this that this was probably going to end up on my list. Um, yeah, it's just it's a driver, and it's got a cool chorus, and of course the harmonies are there, and the solos great. And oh yeah, the freaking flange on the vocals. It kind of just changes this flavor of the song a little bit, and like right here. And I don't know. When I was listening to it last night, I was just like, yep, I still like this one a lot. And it's just like you can. And for me, part of it is also the production, because you can just hear everything. He's hitting the bell of the ride cymbal, and you can hear that. And then they change up the vocal flavor with the flange effect and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's a different flavor.
But Te Amo, this is a good song. And it came off of No More Hell to Pay, which was 2013. But I feel like the back half of this record is really some really solid material. I think the whole album is some really solid material. On this album, like when it goes into Legacy, Marching into Battle, Te Amo, Sticks and Stones, Water into Wine, Sympathy, Renewed, I think all of those songs are really great songs that can get kind of lost because this was the No More Hell to Pay. It was like kind of like their first album on this path that they've been on, and that was 12 years ago, going on 13 years ago when this album was released.
Freeze up.
Oh man, hold on, I'm gonna have to edit this part. No, I'm still recording, so I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just have to. Okay, I'll just make it. I keep getting this unstable connection, so I don't know why.
Gotcha.
So we might just need to wrap it up in a minute so it doesn't crash on me.
Well, I mean, heck, we're an hour and 30 in, and so.
But going back to what I was saying, the back half of this album is incredible. I think it gets forgotten, but Te Amo is a good choice. I've always liked this one as well.
Yeah, not definitely.
So like I said earlier, I mean, that's just 5 songs. We could
keep
this
every
going.
week.
And we could do this for a long time. But
yes,
like you said, we're an hour and a half in, and we only did 5 songs today, but we could pick up with Deep Tracks Part 2 later on down the road. Another great topic, in my opinion, love the conversation, listening to songs that typically don't get the love that we both think that they deserve and why we think they deserve them. And before we jump for the day, I mean, any parting thoughts, man?
No, man, this is a great conversation. Yeah. Like you say, we could do this all freaking day. So no, man, I'm not disappointed with any of the choices. Stoked, like I say, stoked with the conversations, and so yeah, I think we did the day, and I need to bounce so I can get some stuff done before I have to go to see Wolfie and Miles tonight. So,
that's right. You've got a big night tonight. I hope you enjoy it, man. Send me pictures.
I think it's either my 3rd or 4th time seeing Mammoth, and I've seen Miles Kennedy more times than I could count. So to take somebody that's never done that before is always just like a yes, let's go.
Yeah. No, I hear it. It's always exciting, and it's always fun too when you're with somebody and you're going to a show and they are just as big of a fan as you.
Yeah,
that always makes.
Well, the guy I'm going with is the keyboard player in a band at church, and he's a huge music fan. He's just never seen either one of these guys, and I'm just like, oh man, this is gonna be fun. So yeah, I'm very stoked to hang out tonight with my boy Steve.
Well, you guys have a great time, and let me know how it is. And they're both good. So I know you love both Miles Kennedy and Mammoth. So I know you guys will have a great time. And is your normal driver picking you up?
It's gonna be a good night.
Is your normal driver picking you up tonight?
Yes, she will. Steve's coming to the house, and Chanel's gonna make sure we get there safe and sound.
Sounds good. But with that being said, enjoy your night. I know it'll be a blast.
Always good to have that one in your back pocket. So yes.
So enjoy the night. And as always, keep it loud, keep it honest, and keep the fire burning. To hell with the podcast, episode 12. Check us out, like and subscribe. check out our social media, and we will be back next week.
Enjoy, guys.